Welcome back to another episode. I can finally call this whole chapter of mine something. I actually have a name for it now, and it's called Mindful Talk. So welcome to episode 2. I'm really excited to film this one for you guys. So today's mindful topic is patience versus impulse. So when we talk about patience, first thing that comes to mind for me personally is waiting on something. It's having the capacity to wait for something, or being anxious or constantly worrying about the future, what's to come. And I think it's also being able to accept a delay, slowing things down and taking your time. Basically remaining calm while we are waiting for a specific outcome that we want, whether it be materialistic or an experience or something, anything. There are different levels to patience, and everybody has a different capacity to be patient. No one is completely 100% perfect or patient. Example, for a person who likes probably walking really fast, maybe them walking fast isn't because they're naturally a fast walker, but probably they're used to going at a faster pace, even though they know that, hey, I'm not really going to be late anyway if I take things slow. And people who are generally like on a rush, I have to do this now, I have to do that now, I have to get it done, no. Then sometimes you're just a person who probably has a surprise for someone. You have to tell them something on a specific day, but you can't wait until that specific day, so you spoil the surprise and you tell them no. Or probably it's not even your secret or thing to tell, and you tell someone, not keeping that secret, and then you end up feeling really bad after that. I'm guilty for the part of gifts. Like, I'm really not that good at surprises. I'm really good at keeping secrets, but if I have a surprise for someone, especially someone that I'm really close to, I'm going to want to tell them or hint at them or get their opinion. They'll have the idea that, oh, probably Lexi is going to get me that because she keeps talking about it, and that's something that I need to work on personally. But it all comes down to patience and or capacity to wait on things. So do you wait on the right time to tell them, or do you or do you blow it? Or are you the type to jump to conclusions, like after an argument or just a simple conversation with someone? Are you the type to just lash out at someone if they say something that you don't necessarily agree with, or something that's not really that pleasant and you want to tell them about their parts? No. It all comes down to our capacity to wait. Are we willing to not lash out on this person and tell them about their parts, or tell them some other things because of what they told us? We're going to snap back and tell and say even worse things that might get us out of character and wouldn't be the best representation of ourselves in the moment and for future moments. It's just being mindful of those things and understanding also that not every time a situation arises you're going to have full control over it, but you can also be mindful of your past situations and think about how you can better navigate future experiences. So I think I mentioned it before that I'm a bit impulsive, whereas if I am feeling a certain way, I'll act on my emotion, and that's not necessarily the best thing to do in situations because you end up with a lot of regrets, and when you finally calm down, you realize that, Lexi, you probably should have taken some time to calm down and think about it and respond later. So that's something that I need to work on for myself. Say, for example, you are going out with your friend at 7 p.m. to watch a movie or something else. Friend isn't feeling that well and they're walking behind, or they tell you, hey, not feeling that well today, and could you give me a couple more minutes to take care of myself and take care of what I have to do, even though we said we're going to go out at 7 p.m. Is that okay with you? Are you the type to be like, ooh? Are you going to get vexed with them and cuss them out and say, I told you that I wanted to go at 7 p.m. so I'm leaving you, or just be upset in the moment without trying to say, okay, what can I do in these couple minutes? Say, for example, they asked for 15 minutes. What can I do in these 15 minutes to take my mind off of how I'm feeling right now? I'm feeling a bit upset because we had initially planned to go out at 7 p.m. and things aren't going as planned. It's things like that we have to really stop and check ourselves and be like, whoa, I don't have to act this way right now. I can actually control this. This is something that I can control, how I respond to things. So that's something else. At some time, everyone gets impatient. We all have impulses. And what are impulses? Impulses are basically the urge to act out on things without giving much thought to the consequences of that and how the people around us will feel. You don't really think about the consequence of your actions or future actions. Like, okay, if I make this decision right now, this is what's going to happen. Also, not all impulses are bad impulses. You have good impulses and you also have the bad ones. The good ones that you have the sudden urge to get up and study till whatever time. That's a really why am I talking about school? But that's a good example as well. You have the impulse to get up and study for about 2 hours because you have an exam in a couple months, and that could be a beneficial impulse, as well as experiences that won't cost you anything that you would regret if you take the chance. Like, for example, if Corona wasn't in session and I had the sudden impulse to travel to Shanghai for the weekend, knowing that I have the money and knowing that I'm going to be safe and have a place to stay and I probably have a friend there that I can meet up with, stuff like that, and that I don't have anything else planned. I don't have school on that week. I don't, bad things can happen as a result of our negative impulses. Okay, so what do some negative impulses look like? Some negative impulses look like, for example, hey, alright, someone walks up to me. I'm not a fighting person. But say, for example, somebody walks up to you and tells you that, oh, you stole this money, you touched that in here with that person, and you know in yourself that, hey, I did not do that, and they're accusing you that, are you going to punch the person in their face or tell them about something that you shouldn't tell them about, or are you going to try to clear up the misunderstanding or just ignore it? Just tell them that, hey, this was not me, I did not do this, and if they throw one tantrum, you just ignore them and walk away from the situation. Another negative impulse could be you cashing out on Taobao when you get some money, or you spending a lot of money on Amazon, and you know that, hey, I've been broke for the whole month, but you know what, I'm getting money tomorrow, so I'm going to cash out on everything that I put in my cart last month, stuff like that. Or not keeping secrets when you're supposed to, or lying to yourself that, hey, okay, so I know that I shouldn't eat dairy, or I know that I shouldn't be eating cheese, but this one slice won't hurt, stuff like that. That's one of my impulses. But anyway, other impulses that can cause mental harm, physical harm to not only you but to other people around you, because you should also be conscious of other people around you. It's not always about you, and sometimes you need to learn how to not take things so literally, so personally. So yeah. So are you going to keep lying to yourself and say, oh, this one thing won't hurt? No, I can do it one more time. My storage was full a while ago, so I had to restart. Okay, so continuing. Are we going to go along with our impulses, even though it's something completely different from what we expected or what we wanted for ourselves truly? How is impatience triggered? It all comes down to knowing that we all have goals, and impatience comes into play when we know that we have that certain goal to achieve, but it's going to take us a longer time to get that goal to come through, or it's going to cost us much more than what we expected. So it also happens when we set rules and limits to what we want, and this creates expectations, and not all the time we can meet them. Not all the time we'll achieve the goal that we set for ourselves. Sometimes we're going to fall short. And sometimes, even though it's not good, we beat ourselves up over it, which is also not good, but hey, we're human, And that's why it's important to give yourself as much chances as you possibly can. And that's something that I have to keep reminding myself, and that's something that I'm going to always keep reminding you. Give yourself chances. Not all the time we're going to be a perfectionist or be perfect at something or get the perfect grades or have the perfect friends, perfect family. At least try to control what we can control and leave what we can't control out of it. I had expectations for this year. I had so many expectations, I'm pretty sure you guys had expectations too for this year. No one planned that, hey, a virus is gonna just pop up out of nowhere and most of our plans will get shut down. I'm sorry for the wind. That's something that I can't control. But yeah, I had planned to get a camera this year, and by now I would have had my camera. Like, I'd probably have my camera for a month now. Just chilling, taking pictures and stuff. And I set the expectation, I set the limit that, hey, October I will get my camera at all costs. So I've been saving, and there are even other cameras that I could have gotten earlier, but I tried not to give in to that impulse, and I tried to say, hey, this is the camera that I initially wanted, and that's the one I'm going to set my mind to, and that's a bit more expensive. But turns out October is here and I don't have my camera. Something came up and I had to use all that money. So it just goes to show that not all the time we're going to get what we want. For example, say you even wanted newest iPhone this year, or you wanted newest PlayStation that's coming out, and you said, okay, I am going to save up for it. It's coming out November or whenever. But it's October and I really want that game and I don't have any other game playing right now, but I see the old version selling for like couple dollars cheaper. Probably I should just get the older version and cheat on myself and give in to that impulse when that's not exactly what you wanted, and you go ahead and you cash out, and then the release date comes out for what you were planning for, and you're left feeling with these negative emotions and feel disappointed in yourself because you fell short and you didn't live up to your own expectations of yourself. And it's hard living with that because that has happened to me before in other ways, and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good when you set a bar for yourself, you set a standard, you say, okay, I'm going to get a high grade this year. No, I'm going to get 100. You have the impulse to study all night for 2 nights straight. I did not do this. It's just a random example. Take the exam and you have what? You get a 70, you get a 90, or you fail, and you realize that, I could have taken a different approach to this. Maybe I should have slept or gotten something to eat or not forced myself. Knowing that, yes, I have a goal, but there are different ways that I can achieve it. Not all the times that I'm going to get exactly what I had hoped for. Sometimes I'm going to fall short, and that's okay. It's okay. I'm not welcoming that, you should set the bar low for yourself. I'm just saying that it's okay to mess up sometimes. We should always try to remember to not give in to the negative impulses because they always have consequences. Always, always, always. So, yeah. And coming up with this topic, this particular question in mind, what can you do to basically calm yourself down? When you have those impulses, what can you do? What kind of advice can I give? Because I fall short to many of my impulses as well. But just as a human being, I'm just going to say, in general, to just give yourself time, give yourself chances. And not only chances, but you have to make an effort. You can't be giving yourself chances all the time and not putting in the effort that you need to actually make things better for yourself. You can't say that, I'm going to change, I'm going to stop telling people business. And then you're still telling people business tomorrow. Pause. Not everything needs a reaction. Not everything needs to be addressed or decided on immediately. Well, if you don't need to make up your mind now, you don't need to buy that item on Tabo now. Wait a day. Do you really need it? Do you really need to be doing this right now? Is it what you wanted? Is that if you do this right now, would it be the best representation of you? Would it help anyone? Would it help you in the future? There are going to be circumstances that shift our expectations of things and shift our goals and shift our plans, and the time when we would possibly complete our plans or goals. And don't forget your goals and the things that you dream of and you want for yourself and work towards that. Sometimes people won't give you chances. You have to give yourself credit. Try to be more mindful of the choices that you make and how quickly you're making those choices and the consequences of them. I hope that you learned something from this episode. This is episode 2. Yeah, so I hope that you learned something and look out for episode 3. I'm not really sure when I'm going to be posting episode 3 or making episode 3. So bye guys. See you next time.